Yo, what's good guys? It's your boy Free Cookies here, and I'm doing a Gears of War 4 tips and tricks video. This is my first tips and tricks video for Gears, and I'll be releasing more videos real soon. There are just a lot of different tips and tricks I want to share with you guys, and I didn't really want to clump them all into one video, so I'm going to separate them based on certain commonalities, and for this video it's going to be more focused on the fundamentals that you should focus on improving, and it'll make you a more solid Gears of War 4 player. One of the most overlooked aspects of the game are active reloads. Using the active reloads is one of the easiest ways to improve your success when playing online. Active reloads give you a faster reload time, but more importantly they give you a damage boost for the majority of your guns. The damage boost can vary from gun to gun, but I found it to be about an average of a 20% boost, and while that number may seem insignificant, that 20% can easily be the difference between you winning or losing a one-on-one fight. Active reloads can also give different types of bonuses for different guns, such as for the torque bow, which will decrease the amount of time needed to charge up a torque shot, or for the bolt-stock pistol, which will increase its rate of fire. Getting familiar and mastering the perfect active reload is a crucial part of the game. Practice it until you can land a perfect active reload based on muscle memory alone, so that you barely even have to pay attention to it at all. Also, something new in Gears of War 4 is that you can pre-active your shots at any time while the white bar next to your ammo clip is whited out. A smart player will keep that in mind and pre-active their shots to give themselves an advantage before a fight. And even sometimes you may want to wait until you can actually pre-active your shots before engaging an enemy. Generally, if you're playing a semi-decent player, they're going to have their shots pre-active before the battle, so make sure you get in the habit of pre-activating your shots too. I grouped these together because they both play into each other. Spotting and using the TACCOM will boost your overall awareness of what is going on during a match. Spotting not only helps you, but it also helps out your team. Basically, to spot an enemy, you aim in their general direction by holding down the left trigger, and while you're aiming you press down on the left thumbstick. And what this will do is place a marker above their head that will be visible to you and your team for about 3 seconds from anywhere across the map. And what's new about Gears of War 4 also is that if you use the TACCOM while an enemy is spotted, you can see them and what they're doing through any wall or surface, kinda like some crazy X-ray vision superpower type shit. This is an unbelievably huge tactical advantage, as you can see what your enemy is doing while they're hiding and predict what they're gonna do next. To use the TACCOM, you press and hold down the left bumper on your controller, and once you let go of the left bumper, the TACCOM will fade. Other benefits to using the TACCOM are that it will let you know what weapon spawns on the map are available or unavailable. If a weapon is available, it will appear as white. If it is unavailable, then the weapon will be grayed out. This is important because power weapons can easily turn the tide of a battle. Quickly checking to see if a weapon is available will let you know sooner to go over there and control a power weapon so the other team can't get it. So spotting and using the TACCOM I wouldn't say are absolutely crucial to being a good Gears of War 4 player. However, getting in the habit of using these simple and easy mechanics that are already in the game will make you much more aware of what's going on in a match and ultimately a better Gears of War 4 player. Okay, so positioning is easily in the top 3 most important aspects of the game that is often overlooked and not consciously thought about. Positioning is a very deep topic, and I could go on forever about it, and for that reason I will only cover it briefly in this tips and tricks video, and will for sure talk about it more in a different video. Basically though, always keep in mind your position at all times. For example, standing in the middle of a crossfire is a big no-no, and while that may seem obvious to most, people do it all the time regardless and are completely unaware of what they're doing. If you feel like you are in a vulnerable or dangerous position, you probably are. Reducing the amount of angles an enemy can flank you by is a great way of implementing good positioning. And keep in mind, I'm not saying you should camp in a corner, which you should also definitely not do. I'm saying that you should be in an area where you can be effective offensively, yet able to fall back to a safe defensive location when the shit hits the fan. A general rule of thumb, stay close to at least one piece of cover that can shield you between the enemy if need be. Okay, so on a very similar note, movement is also easily one of the most important aspects of the game. I wouldn't say it's overlooked at all, just that it's very difficult to master. Just like with positioning, movement is a really deep topic that I'll cover more in depth in a different video, but essentially, mastering the movement in Gears of War 4 can make you a god against the mediocre and really good against some of the better players. However, if you want to beat the tryhards, pub stars, and pros, it'll take more than just that. For starters, always try to be somewhat mobile. You don't want to stand in exactly one spot for too long, or you might get your head popped, or you may get flanked from behind. Conversely, pushing forward and roadie running constantly is not the smartest idea either. Being able to move fluidly throughout the map and knowing when to hold your position and when to move is key. Rolling too much and bumping into cover unintentionally are definitely your enemies. Try to stick with roadie running and wall bouncing for moving rather than using the roll. And like I said before, movement is a really deep topic and I don't want to spend too much time talking about it in this video, but on a final note, just practice getting better at moving fluidly throughout the map and it will seriously improve your game. Make sure to check out my other videos on wall bouncing and other tips and tricks on movement. Okay, so this may seem really obvious, but I cannot stress it enough. Land your shots, and land your shots. Do not miss. The Gnasher shotgun in Gears of War 4 is really strong, even from a considerable distance. And although many players are tempted to pump out their shots as quick as possible, it is much more desirable to land one good strong shot than two shitty ones. Sometimes you need to practice slowing down and keeping some composure just to make sure you land your shots. Sometimes passing up an initial opening shot is the right choice if waiting a half second longer for a much more damaging and lethal shot is an option. This specifically feeds more into the topic of timing your shots, which is a whole nother topic that I'll not be covering in this video. But once again, land your shots, do not fucking miss. Okay, so this is my final tip for this video. Don't be a lone wolf. And what this means is try to stick with your team, especially if you're not a pro. Staying with your team is by far one of the easiest ways to reduce the amount of deaths you rack up in a match, and also it's one of the easiest ways to increase your chance of winning. Gears of War 4 is a numbers game. It takes a good amount of skill or luck to handle a 2-on-1. So, try to make sure you're one of the two, rather than being the one. If being a lone wolf is specifically your playstyle, and it works for you, then that's totally fine. I personally lone wolf it up all the time, and it works out great for me. However, if you're not the most skilled Gears of War 4 player, you'll probably find more success sticking with your team. Plus, it helps out your teammates too, having another player around to help. But nobody ever seems to give a fuck about that. Okay guys, so that's all the tips and tricks I'm going to cover for this video. Here's a list to recap the 6 things I went over. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me, and if you could, please throw a thumbs up my way. My name is Free Cookies. Make sure to subscribe for more Gears of War 4 tips, tricks, and tutorials.